Hi guys, Paul here from PABrewNews. Got a beer here that I've done before. A little revisit on the channel from the Traquair Jacobite Ale from the Traquair House from is it where are they from in Scotland? Innerleithen, Scotland, Peebleshire, Scotland, Peebleshire, Scotland. Brewed by Traquair House Ales, Innerleithen, and the best buy is September 2029. So I know this is a very fresh bottle. Very fresh bottle indeed. First brewed in 1995 in honor of the Jacobite Rebellion in 1745. And I think it says that right here if I remember what I had from the last time I had this. Traquair House Brewery, located in Scotland's oldest inhabited house, using a 1738 copper kettle and oak fermenters to produce this fine ale. First brewed in 1995 to commemorate the Jacobite Revolution, also known as the Rebellion, also known as the Uprising. What I think was it Charles Stewart. And the Scots tried to take back the British throne for his father James, and in 45, and invaded England, and went down all the way to Derby, I believe, and then but in December sometime he was pushed back, and then went to Rome or went to Italy or France, and then ended up dying in Rome later. He never got a chance to win the throne back, but it was a rebellion, and this ale commemorates that right there. Now, I've had this again. I've had this a while ago, and it's been a long time, but I remember I loved it very much. Afternoon, Adam. How you doing? And we'll just pop that up there just to say that. And the other one I really like too, which I know there's an old case of up in the mountains at a place that I don't get to very often, but I'm thinking about picking up the case of it, is the house ale from Traquair. So I'm definitely thinking about going up there and picking up that case because they make good beer. Now I'm looking forward to cracking this open. I picked this up recently when I did my little beer haul here, and I know it's fresh, so it's not going to be super aged and crazy, but it's just nice to have a revisit of an ale that I didn't think I'd see again. So let me crack it open real quick and get it into the glass. Let's pour that in there for right about now. Now, I forgot to mention, Traquair Jacobite Ale is an ale brewed with coriander and fermented in oak barrels. And it comes in at 8% alcohol by the volume. So there we go. And the Beer Hounds beer review pops in with cheers from OC, California. Well, cheers to you. Here we go. Ooh. All right, now let's get the... Oh, and Brother Craig's in the house. Cheers, Brother Craig. Up to the light. Mahogany cherry hues through the glass. Just a ring of soft head. And alcohol legs from that 8% for sure. Look at that. Velvety looking smooth head. Very, very nice. I just picked up some quality traditional ales that are just making me excited, making me happy to be here. And this is one of them. So let's get an aroma on this one. Again, this is a revisit, but it has been a long time since I've had this one. So cheers. It's got that nice toffee, brown bread, molasses kind of quality, but with sharp figs and dates in it as well. You get a little bit of that woody kind of smokiness, a little bit of hint of that tannic note from those oak barrels. Very soft though. It's very soft, very delicate. They are aged, so that would make sense too. That nice coriander's popping up in the nose, kind of shining above those nice fruits. A little hint of a soft vinous character, but very, very subtle. That ethanol alcohol wafting up through, being almost like a soft black cherry with it. Yeah, it looks so. There you go. Boop. Yeah, it is a nice looking beer. Very just sexy. It looks probably darker on can than it is in real life, but it almost looks like it's probably a stout or something like that. But very nice. Boop. See, I'm learning technology and everything. It's gonna it's gonna walk. Look at me with the face. I'm just gonna drink it. Cheers. It's a bit thin. Back end, it gets a little bit on the low side of a medium body, but most of it, especially with that nice creamy head, it is velvety. A little bit of an oiliness. Medium side of a medium body, tapering down to a nice little bit of a, again, just kind of that nice soft brown bread tonality. A little bit of brown bread, biscuity kind of characters wafting through the back of the palate. You still have a little bit of that caramel hang along the sides of the palate, molasses kind of tonalities, brown sugar, and those nice little fucking fruits. So I'm very like, I like it a lot. I haven't had this in a long time, and I'm glad I found it again. There is a little bit, very faint though, minerality in the back of the palate. A little copper coin mixing in there, but very subtle, very soft and subtle. More of it's just that little bit of that woody oak and tannin tone, very subtle. That bready tone kind of carries throughout. The farther it goes down the palate, the less those caramels and sticky tonalities of those, burnt toffees and things they kind of hold on, they start dissipating. It leaves you more of that breadiness and that little bit of that tannic tone, a little bit of that earthy tone. There is nothing in this beer that says 8%. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. It just goes down like an absolute dream. It's a dream machine. That's what this is. There's a little bit of pepperiness too, but it's more at the front of the palate where that coriander is kind of sitting too. Get hit with that sizzliness, nice little coriander. As those dark fruit come in, then the caramels come in, then they kind of start fading down, fading down. That's when that breadiness comes in, the woody kind of tonalities, little copper coin mineralistic tonalities. It just blends on down, and it just calms you down. That's what it does. It's a really nice beer. I would like to have the house ale here as well. I'll have to go back and actually find my review of this because one of them I liked a lot. You know what I mean? They both I liked both of them, but one of them I definitely really liked a lot. And it would be interesting to see which one that really was. Because I'm happy about this too because I was talking to the guy. He got like a lot of one-off cases, like the Action Killers and stuff like that, the Ralph beers and this. He did tell me, he goes, if you like this stuff, I'll get case prices and I'll order cases of them. That way you can just get a case when you come back. And I told him with especially with the ICA stuff and stuff like that, yes, get a case. I'll just get the whole goddamn case when I show up. So probably have to tell him, get these Traquairs and I'll just throw them down in the dungeon and then they could just age because that would be good times. Now, Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews told me he had a 120 or 160 shilling version of a wee heavy that they did, and he said a shilling ale or whatever you want to call it, and He said it was excellent. And when I told him that I had a aged case of Traquair up a house up at the mountains there, he's like, get it, get it, get it. It's going to be awesome. And I'm like, oh, I know. Oh, I know. So. I remember when this actually did hit the shelves here. It came so randomly too. It's just this, and no one's ever heard of it here. Well, for me anyway, I've never heard of it. And one day, it was like Yorkshire Sting Ale kind of showed up in 2014. Was it 2008? It was already pre-aged, and it showed up on the shelves. It was probably 2012. I'm thinking probably in that 2012 area. Because when 2014 came out, they weren't as good as the 2008s. So, yeah, 2012's about 2012, these just randomly showed up on the shelves, and they kind of just sat there because nobody wanted them. I mean, nobody, especially back then, didn't really just try beer to try beer. So, every time I saw them, then I was picking them up. I was like, "Fuck, I'll give these a go," and then I'm like, "Fuck, yes!" But they're like $7 a pop, so I mean, they weren't cheap, but at the same time, they were quality, and especially then too. I mean, I'm still the way it is now. It's like if I wanted beer, I always wanted to go like traditional European before anything else. And I know these, even though they were a newer brewery, still reeked in that kind of delicious tradition. You know what I mean? And they still do today. And I really like that about Traquair. Now I don't know. I don't know where Innerlethen is located as far as in Scotland. Peeblesshire, I don't know. Peeblesshire, I don't know if how to pronounce that correctly. It's People's Shire. So Peeblesshire, I don't know. Sometimes they don't do the shires, the shires, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So in England anyway, I don't know about Scotland. They just go and they punch it. But and I like the fact that it's dated. I mean, it's still got that boom. It's probably not going to zoom in, but boom, Best Buy, September 2029. I love the fact that they put a 10-year fucking shelf life on this shit. You know what I mean? Because it's definitely a 10-year life. I mean, this is a 2019 bottle. That's perfectly fine. It's already got a year of age technically on it, and it's fucking delicious. So it almost reminds me, in a soft, subtle way, of the Ale Mary from RHC Brewing Company that I got a case of, and I really like that. But it's more robust. Obviously, it's a really robust beer. The Ale Mary is also aged to shit, and it's a little bit thin at the end because it's so aged. But this has a little bit of those subtle, beautiful nuances, but amped up. You know what I mean? Everything's a little bit amped up, a little bit more crazy. But I'm definitely into doing this, like going to get that case up in the mountains and enjoying that. Plus a couple other ones. I want to see if I can get some guys together with me. So when I do go up there, there's a couple cases that I know have been sitting around for a couple years, and I kind of want to like group people together to see if I can get as many cases as I can of this and of that, of this and of that, of this and of that kind of thing. So, whoop. They are on the Scottish English border. Well, there you go. Much like I don't know how far. I mean, I want to go up to see Hadrian's Wall. I know there's not a lot left, but I think that would be fucking awesome because that's just the way I like things. And I still need to get to Berwick upon Tweed because of where I grew up. And then I need to get into proper Scotland after that. And I was talking to Peter about this a couple years ago when, we thought like the future was ahead of us and we had money, that we could do a Scottish, just Paul and Peter Scottish adventure where we don't know what we're doing, but we're going to just do it. And James was like, "Oh, I'll come back over and I'll drive you around and all this." And I was like, I said, "Peter, imagine just you and me on a fucking boat going across an isle, to an island to go to like a whiskey place. It would be epic. It would be an adventure. If you have to board a boat, it's a fucking adventure." So there you go. So it at about 40 miles from Northumberland, the Northumberland border. There you go. There it is, right there. So it's not even very far up, and it's boop there. It's not bad because that's I know Harry just he did a tour around Scotland for a little bit, and honestly, if you're in the northern area of England, I man, these guys make good stuff. They really do. I actually think that this would definitely be a pilgrimage spot for me if I was in that local area of that northern England. Not I know that's not local, like I still far distance, but at the same time, it would be on my radar. Let's just say that if I'm traveling north, this place is going to be on my radar because they do make really good beer. Like for instance, there's a place on. I have to pinpoint the accuracy of the locale. It's in Quebec, but it's called Le Trois Musketeers. You know, it's the Three Musketeers. They make the best fucking beer. Traditional, amazing beer. They make a double bock. I fucking love, and they're a fucking French Canadian brewery company. Like really. So I definitely want to go up there and definitely hit the Three Musketeers at some point in time, and really just enjoy their shit because Baltic Porters, double box. I mean, like I had those two, and they're absolutely disgusting. You know what I mean? So they're doing these traditional styles to an amazing degree. I don't even know what else they have as an option. If they make it a Russian Imperial style, I'll probably die. It's one of those kind of things. They're really good. So definitely something I have to check out. But this Traquair Jacobite Ale, I'm so thankful that it's something that's reminding me of the old times. It's still living up to its name. I'm just as excited as I was the first time I tried it. That's the cool part. And Adam goes about 2.5 hours from me, as it is on the East Coast, and I am on the West. That's not far at all. I mean, that's how far it is for me to go to Philly, and I have to go to Philly just to get a plane, if you know what I mean. So, 2.5 hours, pretty good, man. That's pretty. I would do that. I'd probably do that once a month. Well, time to go to Traquair House. Bye bye. I'll see you tonight, and come back with a load of shit. Drink it all. At the end of the month, go back up. Bring a bunch of shit back. Go back up. Fuck yeah. I don't think that's a bad problem. It's not a bad problem to have, to be that close to such an amazing brewing company. And well, you where you are, Adam, there are amazing brewing companies everywhere, and I understand that. But the the traditional, like they're really great, just decadent traditional. And I think that's the. It's not like boring traditional. It's decadent traditional. These are just decadent motherfucking beers. Wow, the house ale is still, it's. I think the house ale was the one that was more calm, I'd say, but still at the same time had a lot of robust, crazy flavors. 160 shilling is one Harry hat. Yeah, 160. I thought it was something like that. It's still here. I thought it'd be gone already. Like honestly, I was just powering it down. I'm just looking at the glass going, God, this is good. This is a really good beer. And like if I could brew something this good, I would consider that, like an accomplishment. Like I have hit that point of brewing excellence. This is it's something else. This is something else. Hmm. As I say, like this brewing company hasn't been around for that long either. This beer was from 1995. That's when they started brewing this beer specifically. I mean, if you look at like um, Old Foghorn and things like that, those beers, um, they started been brewing it in the 81 area. I mean, Maytag started Anchor, and they started doing the Old Foghorn in 81, I think it was. Another similar beer, I believe, Bigfoot. It hasn't been around, too ungodly long, but longer than that. So I don't know exactly how old Traquair. See, the 745 is the anniversary of the Jacobite Revolution, but I don't know how old the brewery actually is itself. And of course, it has been brought to us by the beautiful Merchant du Vin Kolb from Seattle, Washington. But at the same time, thank you for bringing that over. So it's weird. It goes from Scotland to Washington back to PA. But that's the way it goes. And if that's the way it goes, I'm okay with it. Mm. Wow. That is a good beer. That's a good beer. I don't know what I gave it last time because I don't rewatch anything I do because I find myself disgusting and annoying, and my voice is horrible. This has got to be damn. This is one of those ones. Hmm. Well, I'm just saying, like I want to give this one a 9.5. It's one of those ones where I don't know. Maybe it's romance. I think I'm doing a little bit of Peter and romancing the Stein. As I say to Peter every time he talks about Germany, he's romancing the Stein, and that's why he gives everything a 10. Because he get every other thing he does a 10, no matter what it is. If he has a good day, Budweiser gets a 10 because that's what Peter does. But it's okay. It's fine. Let's say, oh, what do they go? Whoop. It says they did a 10% version of the house ale for their 100th brew anniversary. I'm like, no shit. That would have been fucking amazeballs to have. That would be great. I'm going to give this one a 9.5. And again, I'm romancing the Stein probably, but I'm damn sure I gave when I did my first review, I didn't watch it, but it's probably a very similar score because this is just delicious. This is a really good beer, and I'm glad I had it again, and I'm glad I found it again. And I don't do a lot of revisits on the channel. I don't really do any. To really just say that, I really don't do any revisits on the channel. But I think this is a revisit that is well worth it. So, unless it's a different year, well, this is technically a different year, but like Parabola, Sukaba, those kind of things that even the Dark Horizons, those kind of beers. But this is a damn fine beer, and I something about this thing that exudes the traditional atmosphere that really does make me gravitate to this in a very fun way, and it makes me excited again. I think that's the thing is, some people might not get this, but I've been in this whole craft beer review thing for so fucking long without any actually. Well, the people that I've met obviously are the reward, but other than that, there's nothing else except for an empty pocket and and a broke bank account. But getting back into these traditional beers really does revitalize my zeal for the hobby of reviewing beers, getting into beers, and really picks up the romance of the whole thing, the learning the history, the learning the region, the learning the people, the learning the whys, the hows, the who's, the his. That all starts with traditional. That started with me with wine. It started with wine, it moved on to beer, and it grew and it grew and it grew. But now the craft beer industry, it doesn't have that romance. It doesn't have that intrigue. It's like, oh, Marty used to peddle shoes and now he owns a craft brewery because anyone that can get a grant can open a craft brewery and blah blah blah. and we just put hops and everything and make it haze. I don't know. I hate to sound like a dick, but it ruins the whole thing. The whole, like, the beer might be great, yeah, but I don't give a fuck what you have to say. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, my dad was a doctor and I got a trust fund and now I have a brewing company. Like, I don't want to hear that story because I'll beat you to death. And those are the stories of those people. You know what I mean? So I don't want to hear that shit. But this stuff where there's, not maybe this, but other things that traditional has that kind of romance to it. Like Stefana, brewed since 1040. That's got some fucking romance in there. That's got some history in there. They got some ups and downs, some left and rights that you might want to hear about because it might be fucking interesting, Um, yeah, the rich upstart that started in 2018 that just started automatically making money. I don't care about you, and I hope you fail, but you won't because you're rich. But yeah, I don't want to be bitter, but this I'm trying to make a point. I'm not trying to be bitter. I'm trying to make a point of romance and romancing the Stein, as I talked about with Peter. Like, you romance the Stein. Like, you need that. You don't. It's not about It's not about beer. It's about the atmosphere around the beer you're drinking. You know what I mean? Boop. Ow. You mean reviewing is not all about reviews, like likes and monetization? Well, I've never been monetized, so I guess not. Never it or should be. No, absolutely not. No, it should never be about the likes and monetization because, one, have you ever known me to give a fuck what you think? And two, I've never been monetized, nor will I ever be. So there you go. There you go. Ta-da, ta-da. But and fuck you. I don't care what you think. Not you. I'm saying in general. But yeah, this it's like, for me, it's like, which is weird because a lot of people aren't like this, but me, it's like fucking. It's like sex. Sex without like giving a fuck about the person is just bleh, 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 bleh. But sex with an emotional connection is what I mean? Like, and that's is here's a generic craft beer that 1,000 people brew right now and blah blah blah, or I haven't. This is an Anger double bock and all this and look at the goat, and it's one of those kind of deals. And I don't know if a lot of people understand that right now because it's a very abstract concept to deal with, but I get excited when I have to deal with this. I get excited very much. Get very excited. And that fucking record is skipping like a bitch, but it's okay. It's fine. So I've done kind of like an impromptu re-review of the Jacobite Ale. I'm sorry about that. Jacobite Ale. That's better. From the Traquair Brewing Company from in Innerlethen, Scotland. Apparently, only just above the English border on the eastern side of the country. So thank you, Adam, for supplying me with that information. That makes it much better because I had no fucking clue. So yeah, I'm just gonna throw it to the 9.5 category. I'm just gonna put it right there because this beer, no matter what, if you get it fresh, it's like a 9 guaranteed. But the more you just age this thing, it's gonna get better and better, 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 better. So, not gonna throw tens out. I'm not crazy, but I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because this is exactly what I needed at exactly the right time. There it is, 9.5, 9.5. And honestly, thoughts, opinions, share whatever you had. If you had this, let me know what you think. Definitely like to hear that the back and forth is on all that crap. I reached 740 subscribers recently. which is the most I've ever had. So thank you. So there you go. You got a thank you out of me. I like it. Now, this has been Paul for PABrewNews. Cheers. Bye bye. Watch that finger.